What's happening, New York? Yeah! Oh, this is amazing. Thank you for coming out. Oh, we're gonna have fun tonight. Welcome to it, people. This is us. Can I tell you for a second, this has been my dream since I started stand-up comedy, doing a special in New York City. This is it. This is it, New York, New York! Yeah, New York! I'm walking over here! That was all I thought New York was before I came here. I just thought it was a city of people almost getting run over. Just everyone walking into the street, a taxi rolling up, slamming the hood. I'm walking over here! What's wrong with you? You want some coffee? I didn't even know what that meant. All I knew was one day I was gonna go to New York City, and I too was going to almost get run over by a car. I had a dream and I set out. And you know what? It's a lot harder than it seems. You know, in the movies, they make it look simple. They make it look like you run out, the car almost hits you, you do that thing, you slam the hood and then move on. But it's not that easy. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. It's all about being precise. You have to get out there at the exact same time that the taxi is there so that it stops so that you can hit the hood, right? If you don't have the guts and you come out too late, the car's gone. It's a waste of everyone's time. You just look like a mad person now. You're just like, hey! I'm walking over here. If you come out at the exact time as the car, then you just get run over. That's just pointless. You know, it's like, hey, he was walking over here. What's wrong with you? The worst though is when you come out too early, because that's just awkward for everyone involved. Because you come out and then the car stops, but you can't reach the hood. It's just like, hey! Come here. No, come closer, please. I want to tell you a secret. Come here. No, I'm from Africa. I have a dream. Please come closer. I just want you. I'm walking over here. I love this city. Are you kidding me? New York. My dream was to come out here. As soon as I got here, I was like, this is it. There is an energy in this city that exists nowhere in the world. New York, New York. I love it, everything about it. You know what fascinates me about New York? Is how much people trust the traffic lights. I have never seen anything like it. You must remember, I come from an African country, and all over Africa we have traffic lights, but we don't use them. Right? It's less of a command and more of a suggestion. It's not stop, it's stop. It's almost like, you know, it's almost like an African traveled the world, saw that other people had traffic lights, and then just brought them back, but didn't know what they were for. Like the guy was just like, guys, we need to get traffic lights, huh? And people were like, what for? It's for the intersection. It adds atmosphere. But no one actually knew what it was about. We don't care about the lights, and we don't trust the lights. But in New York, I've never seen it. People trust that light with their lives. I was walking through the streets one day. I was walking next to this man. I'll never forget this, right? He's standing there on the sidewalk, and the light changes in our favor. And I look to the side, and there's this truck that is barreling down the road. And I'm looking at the truck, and as soon as the light changes, the guy next to me, he just steps out into the road. And so instinctively, I stuck my hand out to protect him. I was like, yo, dude, there's a truck. And he was like, it's okay, we've got the light. I said, yeah, and he has a truck. In a game of rock, paper, scissors, you lose. But he was so confident. He was like, it's okay, we got the light. Come on, let's go. And he walked out there. He didn't just walk out. He stared that truck driver down as he was crossing, just looking at him like, I've got the light. I've got the light. You know I've got the light. You know I've got that light. I was running behind him, all apologetic. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I would have stopped. I've never done this before. I'm so sorry. I walked with that man for 12 blocks. And let me tell you, I have never been imbued with the confidence of another human being the way I was with him. I started that day thinking and pondering before stepping out. And after a few blocks with him, I started believing. And after 8 blocks, it was the only way I knew how to live. I had my phone out. I was tweeting and texting. I didn't play games. I'd be looking down, look up, the light would change, and I was out. I didn't care if a truck or a train was coming towards me. I was out. Because I've come to realize in America, if you've got the white man on your side, you can do whatever you like. You just roll. What an exciting time it's been. I couldn't have chosen a better time to come and live in the United States. Huh? What an exciting time. I'm surprised that with everything that's happened, it hasn't all burned down. I've been coming to the United States on and off, visiting for almost 10 years. And what was great about visiting on and off was I got to experience America in snapshots. You know, I would feel what the people were feeling. I would get an idea of what the populace was going through. And I'll never forget how every time I came to America, one of the biggest things I noticed was how black Americans were having a tough time. Remember the first time I came out? I was staying on the West Coast, and I met a young African-American man in Compton. And we were hanging out at a comedy club, and this guy, he looked over at me and he's like, "Hey, yo, Trevor." He's like, you the dude from Africa, man?" I said, yeah, I'm one of them, yeah. He's like, "Yo, man, I can't front, B. It's an honor to meet you, man. It's an honor to meet you, man. Yo, man, I always wanted to meet a dude from Africa. You an OG, man. You an OG." I was like, thank you. He's like, "Yeah, man, you know how hard it is out here for a black man? Dude, I can't front, man. You can't get no jobs, man. The cops be on your ass all the time, man. Yo, I'm finna go to Africa myself, man. Yo, I'm gonna go to Africa with you, man. I'm going with you, B." And I was like, "Yeah, if you buy the ticket, we can roll. I mean, let's go." And I connected with him today. I felt something. Fast forward a few years later. I remember I met a beautiful black woman down south. I was doing shows in Birmingham, Alabama. And this woman came up to me after the show, and she connected with me instantly. She was like, "Trevor, baby, can I just tell you right now, I ain't never met a stranger I felt so connected to. When you talk about Africa, when you say those things, I'm like, oh man, oh Lord, I wish I could go with you. Tell me all about the motherland, baby. I want to go to a place I can call my own. I want to go to a place where people don't look at me like I don't belong. Tell me all about Africa, baby. Tell me all about it." And I could feel what she was saying. And I knew that people weren't having a good time. And then you fast forward to 2016. And I'll never forget that moment when Donald Trump closed the lead, had a 1 in 2 chance of being president of the United States. And for the first time in my life, I had white Americans coming up to me going, "So Trevor, tell me about Africa. What's going on out there?" It's sounds like a plan, am I right? What is it, motherland? Motherland? Yeah. I should come with you. Ali Boombaye, count me in, buddy. And it's not just America as well. It's not just America. You know, a lot of Americans were shocked by that rhetoric, but if you expanded your view, you realized that the rise of nationalism is taking place all over the world. In Austria, in Australia, in England, that was what Brexit was all about, right? They made it seem like it was about the economy, but it wasn't. The truth was, it was fundamentally people who wanted their country back. It never went anywhere, but they still wanted it back. I saw people on the news talking to the BBC. That's why I'm voting for Brexit. That's why I'm voting for Brexit, right? Because this bloody country is going to the dogs, right? This bloody country, and I want Britain back. That's why we're voting for Brexit, because we want Britain back. From who? From who? Britain is like 95% white. Who do you want it back from? People saying the weirdest things, the craziest things. These bloody immigrants, they come over here, they're up to no good, right? I hate these bloody immigrants, they need to go back to where they came from. But why do you hate them so much? I'll tell you why I hate them. I'll tell you why, right? Because they're not even trying to be British. That's why. They don't even try to be British, right? They come here, they bring their own bloody culture, right? They bring their own food, speak their own bloody languages, try to take over the whole bloody place. Well, that sounds British to me. I mean... If there's one country, if there's one nation in the world that has no right to complain about immigration, it's Great Britain. If there's one nation in particular, you do understand, they created the problem that they are now dealing with. They went out and colonized the world. At one point, half of the globe was controlled by the British Empire. Do you understand how insane that is? They went around colonizing from pillar to post. People didn't care about them. No one was trying to find the British. The British were the ones traveling the world, telling everyone of their existence, knocking on doors. Hey, we're the British, follow us. It's basically ancient Twitter, that's what that was. And I'm not saying the British are bad people, by the way. You know? I understand that colonization was something that was popular at one time. Many European countries participated in it. But the British were the best. You know, they were the best. It's not because they were bad. I think I blame it on the weather. That's what I think happened. I think they have bad weather, and bad weather makes you a bad person. Yeah, because if you think about it, there was no one from a tropical climate who was trying to take over the world. You don't ever hear stories of Caribbean conquerors. Yeah, there's no stories of like Troy the Terrible from Trinidad. You don't hear these stories. There's no need for that. When the weather's horrible, you want to go somewhere else and take it from somebody. If you're living in a beautiful paradise, you have no need to leave. Can you imagine that scene? Just some random handsome guys hanging out on a beach in the Caribbean. One looking at the other out of nowhere. Darius! Darius! What, Troy? I was thinking, bro. Stay with me here, I was thinking, right? We should build boats, sail around the world, and force everyone to dance calypso. It wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. The British colonized with class. They went all over the globe. And you know, colonization, we read about it now, and it seems normal, because it's in a history book. They colonize. When you think about colonization, it is the strangest thing you can think about. Because conquering is one thing. You go to another country, you take what's theirs. You want more. You take the land, you know, you take the resources, you kill the people. That I understand. But colonization, I don't condone, I understand. But colonization is strange, because you go there and you don't just take over. You then force the people to become you. That is such a strange concept. When you think about where the British did it, I mean, they did it in Africa, they did it in Asia. And think about in India. Those cultures could not be more diametrically opposed. And out of nowhere, the British just decided to roll up. Imagine what the Indians must have felt like on that day. Minding your own business, walking through a field. Next thing you know, the British showed up on horseback. Hear ye, hear ye. By order of Her Majesty the Queen, we have arrived. You over there, what is the name of this land? This land over here? This is called India. Well, my good man, I am here to tell you that India is now under the British Empire. And I'm glad that I can tell you that India is exactly where it was yesterday. No, I feel you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm letting you know that we're here to colonize you by order of the Queen. Who is the Queen? The Queen of England, the ruler of Great Britain. She who was ordained by God. Which God? God. The one true God. There are many gods, my friend. What is the name of your God? There is only one God, and his name is God, and you too shall worship him. You want me to worship a God, but you don't want to tell me his name? What are you talking about? There are many gods, okay? There is Shiva, there is Lakshmi, there is Hare Krishna, there are many gods. What is the name of your God? His name is God. You don't know the name of your God? It's just God. Is it like mommy or daddy? You want me to worship your God, but you don't want me to tell me his name, huh? How am I going to pray to him? What do I do? Every morning I go to wake up and I pray like, oh, dear God, I was hoping that maybe God, you could help me. No, sorry, not you, other God. No, other God. No, not wrong God. No, God, I was trying to talk to other. No, you're right. I should have asked for her first name. No, God. No, other God, please. No, God behind that God. No, not you today, God. Other God. You're right. He told me he would know I was talking to, and I don't. No, other God, please. That God on that. No, that God. You. Then I wonder why my prayers are not getting answered, huh? How dare you speak to me like that? Do you know who I am? No, because you never introduced yourself. I have come here representing Great Britain. And I have never heard of Great Britain. Who gave you that name? Well, we did. You called yourselves great? Isn't that a little presumptuous? Shouldn't you wait for other people to tell you how great you are? Huh? Shouldn't you just go around the world and just do good things? Then people go, oh my God, Britain, look how great you are. Well, I beg to differ. I believe we could do it because we knew instinctively. We are Great Britain. Well, in that case, welcome to Great India. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. How dare you speak to me like this? Look, you're the one who dares to speak to me, okay? I was here minding my own business in my land. You came over here riding on your skinny cow, telling me that things are going to change. I don't know who you are. All I know is you are clearly crazy, okay? You're not feeling too right, and I didn't want to say anything, but you look like you're going to faint. In fact, it looks like you have died last week, okay? Something is very wrong with your skin. You're not looking good, my friend. Maybe you should come down. We have a curry. We talk about this. What are you talking about? I look quite normal. You do not look normal, my friend. I've never seen anybody with that complexion in my life, okay? You look like you're playing hide and seek with the sun your entire life. I don't know what is happening, but that is not how a person should look, huh? I can see your veins pumping through your skin right now. You know how creepy that is? Pumping. If I was your doctor, I don't need X-ray machine. I just go, what is problem? It is your kidney. How do I know? Because you're translucent. That is how I know. Damn you, we are going to run this country whether you like it or not. We are not going to do anything you tell us. You're a madman. We are going to take it. You're not taking. We're going... She's all yours. Take. Don't play nice. Take. And that's how the British took over. That's how they took over India. And then, many years later, the British, after they were done pillaging, left and went back home. And so it only stands to reason that those Indians, who they had now made British, would seek out the land from whence they came. I don't understand why British people are complaining, going, why are they coming here? Why the hell are you coming here? Because you told us how great it was, so we came to see for ourselves. No, Go back to where you came from. Go back. You're not welcome here. This is not your home. But you said we are all part of the British Empire. No, when I said part, I meant you are under us, right? We're the British. You are the empire. What do you mean? We are the British and you are the empire. Okay, well in that case, the empire strikes back. Now make some curry and tell me where we're sitting, okay? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. They can't complain. They cannot complain. If there's one nation in the world, they cannot complain. The truth is, none of us should be complaining. When you think about it, what people term immigration just depends on your timeline, right? You're an immigrant. When do you measure from? Everyone is an immigrant from somewhere. Whenever I see people have those conversations in America, you know, about these damn immigrants, they're coming over here, these damn immigrants, get out of here, you immigrants. I always wonder what Native Americans must be thinking when they're listening to the words that are being said. You know? People confidently saying, this is not where they came from, this is not their land. And they're like, oh, tell me more, tell me more. They need to go back because this is not their home. Oh, really? Everyone is an immigrant in some way, you know. When you travel, you see this. I say that to people. That's why I always say to people, I go, travel the world. If there's one thing you will never waste your money on, it's traveling. Travel the world. See another place. Discover a different point of view. Traveling is the antidote to ignorance. And that's so true. It changes your mind, your perspective, how you believe, what you believe. And you know, one of the greatest things you can do when you travel, one of the greatest things you can do is traveling to a country where they don't speak your language. That's probably my favorite thing. Going to a place where they don't speak English just to make you realize how insignificant you really are. You're not the center of the universe. There's another world that exists beyond you. I try and do that all the time. I try my utmost. I go to English-speaking countries, but I try every now and again to go to a country where they speak no English, you know? Like recently, I went to Scotland, right? And again, I had an amazing time. The place was beautiful. It was a different culture, rich in history. They have the rolling highlands of Scotland. You know, they've got these castles, beautiful, perfectly preserved, hundreds of years old. In the streets, there's the men playing the bagpipes, wearing the kilts. No black people. But not in a bad way, not in a bad way. Just in a matter-of-fact way, you know? Like when I say that there's no black people in Scotland, I just mean there's no black people. But not like there's a good way and there's a bad. Like the good way is when you get there and you're like, ah, there's no black people, you know? But then there's some places you go and you're like, there's no black people. And that's when you know what I mean? That means some shit went down. You can feel it when you get there. Like Australia, there's no Aborigines. And when you get there, you're like, hey, Australia! You're like, wait, where's all the black people? And they're like, oh, I don't know. They left. You can feel something went wrong. But Scotland doesn't have that, you know? Scotland doesn't have black people because they further north there were no black people. There's not many black things further north. The further north you go, the whiter things become. You know, it's the people, the Christmas, the bears, everything changes. I'm sure if you went to a Scottish person and said, excuse me, sir, are you racist? He'd be like, I don't know. I never tried. I had so much fun in Scotland. I remember I was in Glasgow for a week. I was driving around in the back of a car, and every single day, I would try and spot black people. It was like a little game that I played by myself. Every day, I would just be there like, black person, black person, black person, black person, black person. Ha! No, statue. Black person, black person, black person, black person, black person, black person. Ha! No reflection. Black person, black person, black person, black person. No black people anywhere. None. And that's why I say traveling is important. Because I'd never been to a place where there were no black people before. It actually made me realize that there'd been an issue that I'd been grappling with for so long. And now finally I had another answer. And that issue was that of James Bond. I'm a big fan of 007, License to Kill. Loved it my whole life. Started with Pierce Brosnan, then went back and watched Connerys and Lazenbys and everyone, all the way through to Daniel Craig. And I love James Bond. And when I found out that Daniel Craig no longer wanted to be James Bond, I was heartbroken. Until I heard that at the top of the list, the potential replacement was a man by the name Idris Elba. And I lost my mind. You can hear the ladies, I mean, like, yeah, you know, yeah. And that's what James Bond needs. a ladies' man and a man's man, and Idris has that. You know, he's strong, he's charming, you know, he's got that quiet thing. Oh yeah, you know, Idris Elba, oh yeah. You know, Idris Elba, you know, oh yeah. You could just see him playing the dapper spy. And as soon as it was announced, everyone is excited. Everyone was excited until the comment section of the internet came in. Idris Elba, James Bond. And the comment section was like, actually, Idris Elba could not play James Bond. And we were like, why? They're like, because... Because of the shape of his head? What do you say? What do you say? No, because... Because what? Because he's black! James Bond cannot be played by a black man! And as soon as they said that, the internet exploded. Racism! And immediately that happened. I jumped in. I don't even know what it's about half of the time. I just jump in. You just hear racism and I rep my side. I'm just like, racism, racism! Ah, you guys will explain it later. Racism! And I was in there and I was like, what the hell's going on? They're like, James Bond cannot be played by Idris Elba because Idris Elba is a black man and James Bond is white. I was like, well, actually, James Bond is a fictional character and so we can be played by anyone because it is fiction. And they were like, well, when you think about it, James Bond was based on a real man who was white and so he should be played by a real white man. And I was like, well, that just doesn't make sense because if you think about it, Jesus was technically a black man, but he gets played by a white man. So I don't know what your point is, because that's never stopped me from receiving my blessings. I don't know what you're going on about. And they were like, you can't have it. I was like, racism, you can't have it, racism, you can't have it, racism! And then I went to Scotland. I realized that maybe, just maybe, I hadn't given the argument enough thought. Because I love Idris Elba. I want him to play Bond. But if you think about it, James Bond often operates in places like Scotland and the UK and Europe. Because that's where most supervillains choose to reside. I'm assuming it's for tax purposes. No matter how you feel about the issue, you have to admit it would be particularly difficult to be a spy when you are the only black person in town. Your very existence defies your purpose. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying that would be the toughest James Bond movie that was ever made. Can you imagine that scene? Idris Elba, James Bond, planting the C4, blowing up the bad guy's leg, jumping on a bike, riding into the town square in Edinburgh. The bad guy's right behind him. They pull out their guns and start shooting. The chase is on. Get it, get it, get it. Pew! Ding-a-ling, ding, 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 ding. Idris Elba, James Bond, jumps off the bike, runs into a crowded town square. The bad guys are right behind him. He manages to shake them off, pops into a little alley, gets out on the other side, finds a crowded little marketplace, puts a scarf around his head, a fake beard, blends in with a group of monks walking by. The bad guys turn the corner. There it is! James Bond manages to shake them off, gets into another group of areas, pops out on the other side, finds a transportation hub, gets into a bus, the bus goes one way, gets into a tram, the tram goes the other way, the bad guys turn the corner. There it is! The movie will be 10 minutes long. It would end with James Bond panting in an alley. How did you find me? We would lose so many epic scenes. Like that moment where James reveals his name. You know that scene in the casino we always wait for? Him dressed in the tux, playing a high-stakes game of baccarat. See Idris Elba walking over to the bartender now to place that iconic order. Bartender, I'll take my martini shaken, not stirred. The name's James Bond? I know. I'm sorry, mate. Have we met? No. I just heard there was a spy in town. Figured it was you.
What gave me away? Is it the way I dress?
Oh, there's just something about you.
Something like what?
You know. It'll be hard. Scotland was so much fun. Every day I was there, I felt like I was learning something new. I did learn something that I wish to share with you, and I hope you will not suffer the same ills I did. If you do go to Scotland and you are ever offered a drink, don't. Because you see, the Scottish, unlike us, we drink to enjoy. The Scottish drink to die. I used to think the Scottish had an accent. I've now learned that's just centuries of people trying not to throw up. That's all that is. Ah, right, what you do, oh, ah. Your lad has never had that drink, oh, ah. You dream of dragons, oh, that go. More than I've ever been roasted in my life. Ever. Ever. I got roasted. Everything I chose came with a scathing review. I was like, yeah, could I please get this in a medium? He's like, medium? No, you mean large or extra large, no? Yeah, no, this one is the medium for your body. I don't think so, no? I was like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, no, yeah, I think you are large, extra. I can bring that one for you, okay? Medium is too much for the shirt, okay? I'm like, what? Yo, everything. There's a point where there's a jacket I wanted to buy. I was like, yeah, could I get this? He's like, oh no, this one for your skin tone is not great. No, you have to think about what is complementary for the colors inside the fabric and also inside your face, okay? This one is not the best. I was like, yo, I already own something like this. He said, and you are wearing it? Well, not anymore. He's like, no, you can wear it if you want. No, c'est tranquille, go ahead. I was like, no, you threaten me now. They you know what, it's just different. A friend said to me, was like, dude, the French are assholes, right? I was like, no, I don't think that they're assholes. I think they're just very honest, right? And a lot of the time, it's hard to tell the difference between the two. Because one day I was speaking to a French woman, and I worked up the courage to ask her. I said, hey, why are the French like this? And she said, what do you mean? I said, like when you're in like a store, you know, they seem very mean. She's like, oh no, they are not being mean, they are just being themselves, no? You know, maybe because you are used to coming in a country where people are, you know, they are so afraid that you're not going to tip them, that, you know, they are all on top of you. Can I help you? Can I help you? But in France, we are making sure that everybody is getting like a good salary, a good wage. So we are not, you know, so stressed about that, huh? You know, in America, it's like, oh, the customer is king, But in France, you know what we do to kings. So, you know, it's not the same here. The French don't play that game. I'm having more fun in my life now than I think I've ever had. I'm enjoying America more now than I've ever enjoyed it. Every day. I don't even know what it is. I think, you know what, I think it's, you enjoy a place differently when it might be ending, you know? It just has like a different feeling to it. It's just like, what does that taste? The final season? Because you never know with America. You really never know. Every day is the best day and possibly the last day. I'm having an amazing time. I truly am. This year was such a blessing because I got to travel around the world doing shows in places I'd never performed before, places I've always wanted to do comedy. I've always wanted to try it out. You know, did shows in Berlin, Germany, for the first time ever. That was really amazing. I won't lie, people freaked me out. People freaked me out before I went there. Like similar to Detroit, you know, when people are like, oh, watch out, Detroit, watch out, Detroit. You know, like people were like that with Germany as well. Like when I was going to Berlin, people were like, dude, Germany? Do they laugh? I'm like, what do you mean? They're human beings. Like, I don't know, man. Do they laugh? People got to me. There was a point when I was heading to Germany where I was like, maybe Germans just sit in the audience like, aha, yeah, 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 aha, aha. That was a comedy show. But they don't. They laugh. They're actually great audiences. I had an amazing time in Berlin. It's a city that sneaks up on you because it's so culturally diverse. You know, it has a burgeoning art scene. You know, fantastic music. The history in Berlin is truly deep and rich. You know, I love traveling and seeing places whenever I'm in certain cities. And in Berlin, I went out with like a tour group, and I had a great time. But I wish someone had warned me how painful a lot of like Berlin's history is, right? Because that was basically the headquarters of the Nazi Party. So like everything ties back to Hitler. I didn't know this. I thought we were going on like a cute little tour. I ask a lot of questions. I'm curious. This brought the mood down. And we're out and about. The tour guide was doing his shtick. He was happy as well. He was like, you know, here behind me you can see this is one of the largest airports that was ever built in the world. Yeah, it is a world famous airport here in Berlin, and it is so large that they filmed the Hollywood movie, The Hunger Games, inside this airport. Yeah? Any questions? And I was like, yeah, wow, how old is this thing? He's like, this is almost 100 years old. I'm like, damn, and like who built it? Yeah, that is the unfortunate part of the story. This airport was built by Hitler. I could see I'd messed things up. I tried to bring the mood up. I was like, which Hitler? He was like, which Hitler? Which other Hitler is there? I was like, could be Henry Hitler. Henry Hitler? Who the hell is Henry Hitler? I was like, you don't know Henry Hitler? It didn't work. Like, yo, man. It was tense, but it was good. And what I mean by good is it was nice to be in a place where people don't bury their history. You know? And what I mean by that, what I mean by that is that, like, when you travel through Germany, even if you don't go to museums, you cannot escape the past of both Berlin and what Germany did. You know, there are monuments scattered throughout the city, prominent monuments. They're memorializing what Germany did to millions of Jewish people and millions of other people around the world. You see it, you understand it, they talk about it. You know, they teach their kids about it. They teach children in school. They're like, hey, this is what Germany did. They make sure they know. But they don't make them feel guilty about it, which is a pretty amazing balance for them to strike, you know? They'll say to the kids, they're like, hey, kids, I hope you understand. Germany did this. You're not responsible because you weren't there. However, because you're the future of Germany, it's your responsibility to make sure this doesn't happen again. You know what I loved about being in Germany when they were talking about their history is how forthright they are about it. You know, they know it's painful. They know that it's a terrible blight on who they are, but they don't hide from it. Like when I saw them doing this, I was like, man, I wish America did this with history. You know? 'Cause you ever see how awkward it is speaking about history in America? It gets tense. Doesn't matter what history it is, it gets tense. You know, Columbus Day is one of those days. Every year in New York, there's a fight. Every year. Here in Detroit, there was a fight. There was a bust of Christopher Columbus that was around for 110 years. At some point, half of Detroit was like, we need to get rid of it. The other half was like, no, don't get rid of it. It was a huge fight. New York, same thing, every year. Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah, there was an interview on the news I saw once. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but I found it funny. the reporter went up to some guy and was like, "Sir, what are you going to be doing for Indigenous Peoples Day?" And he was like, "Let me tell you something, it's Columbus Day. I'm sick and tired of people coming in and changing the name. We're proud of that day. It's Christopher Columbus. It's Columbus Day. It's not going to change. In fact, how would you feel if somebody came along, took something that's been around for a long time, and just decided to switch it and call it something else, huh? How would you feel?" I was like, "But sir, isn't that the spirit of Columbus Day?" I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Indigenous Peoples Day, the title. I don't like it. I think it's a cop-out. I don't think it's specific enough. It's lazy. You know, Indigenous Peoples Day. Which Indigenous people? Where? How? Give me something, you know? You know what I liked about Columbus Day? Is that it was specific. Yeah. It was a specific, inspiring story of a man by the name Christopher Columbus, who believed against all odds that he could sail the wrong way around the world and get to India from the other side. Nobody believed in him. Yeah. He was like, "I'm gonna do this." They were like, "You can't do it, Chris." And he was like, "I'm gonna do it." They're like, "You can't do it, Chris." He's like, "I'm gonna do it." They're like, "You can't do it, Chris." And he raised money, he fought for years, he finally got the ships, and he sailed the wrong way around the world, and he didn't do it. Not only did he not land on the other side of India, he found himself in a place called the Caribbean, and he was like, "This is India." And the people there were like, "I don't know if you've been eating some of the herb we've been leaving about, but this is totally not India." And they're like, "This is India, and you guys are Indians." They're like, "Brother, we are not Indians." He's like, "I know Indians when I don't see them. You're Indians. You're just on the far side, so you're West Indians." And he stuck with it. Christopher Columbus stuck with it his entire life. Other explorers would come to him, they'd be like, "Yo, Chris, I don't think you made it to India." He's like, "It's India." They're like, "I don't think it's India." He's like, "It's India." He died refusing to acknowledge the possibility that he never made it to India. Not only that, my friends, he never set foot in America. Ever. Ever. And yet, he had a public holiday named after him in America. That, my friends, is the inspiring story of how white men can fail up. You know how much confidence you have to pull that off? Nobody else. That is white man confidence. Nobody else possesses that level of confidence. Go the wrong way, end up in the wrong place, call the wrong people the wrong name, and be like, "I'm right, give me a holiday." No one else can do that. That is the level of confidence we should all aspire to. Is white man levels of confidence. Women couldn't pull that off. You think any woman should be like, "I'm gonna sail the wrong way around the earth"? They'd be like, "Burn her, she's a witch." You think people of color could have pulled that off? You think black people could pull that off? Wow, really? Black people just gonna sail around the world, wrong way around, get to the place they're not supposed to be, probably get arrested for trespassing. Be like, "What are you doing here?" Be like, "Man, my bad, man. I thought I was getting to India, man. My bad, man. I apologize. Man, I don't even know what I was thinking, man. You know what, man? We should have never messed with ships. It never turns out good, man. I apologize, man. This won't happen again." Why would you want to bury your history? So much joy, there's so much to learn. You know? It feels like America's moving in that direction. You know, it wants less and less of its history, wants less and less context. You look what's happening with textbooks. Places like Florida, they want to ban textbooks or cut out the parts of the textbooks that have slavery in the books. And now parents are fighting. They're like, "Oh, no, take the slavery out, it's making the kids feel bad." And other parents are like, "Keep the slavery in, it's teaching the children." And these parents are fighting back and forth. I'm like, why? what you don't need to be fighting about. No one should be fighting about this. Kids don't read textbooks. They watch TikTok. If you want to get to the kids, that's where you gotta be. There was slavery. Ships came. Yeah, they... I'll be honest, I don't think that textbook thing is like a real issue. I feel like it's one of those manufactured issues that often happens in America that gets people riled up and gets them fired up, fighting about something that was never an issue to begin with, you know? And the reason I say this is because that's honestly what I believe. I feel like in America, politicians have done a really good job of tricking Americans into fighting about issues that were never an issue to begin with, so that you don't pay attention to the issues that actually are. You know? If they can get you fighting about what's in a textbook, you don't pay attention to the fact that inflation is out of control, you don't pay attention to the fact that rents are out of control, people cannot afford to live anywhere, your salaries have never kept up with inflation, corporations steal billions and billions of dollars from their employees with no ramifications. You don't pay attention to any of that. You pay attention to what's catchy. It's easy to keep up with. It keeps you going. You know? Ooh, can trans people use public bathrooms? Ooh. It's manufactured. Who was actually dealing with this issue? And I mean this, honestly. Who was actually dealing with this issue? You know what they did? Some politician out there figured out. They go, here's a small story affecting a few people in a random place. I'm gonna make it seem like this is a nationwide issue. And then everyone starts fighting about it. But who? Who was really dealing with it? Huh? Who of you here has ever been in a situation where you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden a skirmish broke out and you heard people being like, excuse me, is this the gender that you were born with? Does it coincide with the sign on the door? Is your genitalia matching this? Can I see it right? Who's ever seen that? Nobody. Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it, who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's gonna stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's gonna enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're gonna figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're gonna fight because you gotta know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. I'm standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You're hearing like, you be like, hey man, hey, you all right? Yo, hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call, hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're gonna have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. Like, how does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually, in fact, any man in here, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell, there is no stain, there is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady is pooing, never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee, it takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hand, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, 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 comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurants. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're gonna have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work, huh? So what, they're gonna be standing there while I'm peeing, huh? And they're gonna be looking at my wiener, huh? And they're gonna laugh, huh? Yo, I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away and I get hard and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Why? Public bathrooms. That's why you shouldn't bury your history. Yeah, because if you know it's happened, you know what to predict. You understand why it happened in the first place. Germany does that in a truly astounding way. Look, it's not perfect. It'll never be perfect. But Germany is one of the only countries in the world that has actively paid reparations for what they did. One of the only countries in the world that has actively apologized. And one of the only countries in the world that's set about changing how they see themselves and how the world sees them. After World War II, Germany changed a bunch of laws. They changed the iconography of the country, what you could hang, where you could hang it. They changed their national anthem. Yeah. Imagine that, they changed the national anthem. They felt that the national anthem was a nationalist song that the Nazis used to inspire people to think the wrong things, and they changed it. The original song was a song called Deutschland, Deutschland über alles. And you've probably heard it like in old movies or whatever. The song went like, Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles auf der Welt. And translated into English, it means, Germany, Germany, over everything in the world. And clearly they meant it. Yeah, where most anthems are theoretical, Germans are precise. But after World War II, they were like, we can't have that same attitude. And so they changed the anthem. They had new lyrics. The new lyrics are, Einigkeit und Rechts und Freiheit für das deutsche Vaterland. Which translated into English is, unity and rights and freedom for all the people who live in Germany. Which is adorable. It's adorable. I mean, they may as well have made the song, sorry, sorry, we're so, so sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry for what we did. I appreciate that they did it, but I wouldn't have gone that far. No, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have gone that far. I think Über alles is terrible. That's not a good way to think. But you still gotta have a bit of kick in your anthem, you know? You still gotta have like a, you know? Yeah, I would have found like a middle ground. Mine would have been like, Deutschland, Deutschland, irgendwo in den Top 5. Nicht über alles auf der Welt. Because we are definitely in the top 5 when you think about it. America's number 1, and then you have Great Britain, and then you have France and Spain, and then we are at number 5. Well, actually, Spain is not better than us, so we are number 4. Number 4 in the, oh yeah, but France, their economy is not that strong, so maybe we are number 3 in the world, then you have England above, oh wait, oh, Brexit was not a smart idea, so maybe we are number 2 and America is number, oh, their elections are not that stable, so then maybe we are über alles auf der Welt! America hates change. Woo! America does not like change. You want to change the things Germany changed, the money, the flags, the anthem. Are you kidding me? Remember when they tried to change the $20 bill? Remember that? Yeah, they said they were going to put Harriet Tubman on the bill. People got so angry, they've postponed it indefinitely. People were furious. They're like, what are you doing? They're like, we're going to put Harriet Tubman. They're like, how dare you? How dare you take an American president off the 20? How dare you take, who's on the 20? How dare you take Andrew Jackson off the $20 bill? People are like, they're not taking him off. They're just putting Harriet Tubman on the front and Andrew Jackson will be on the back. You're putting an American president on the back? On the back? That's disrespectful. It's not really. I mean, if you know your history, you would know Andrew Jackson would love to be on the backside of a black woman. So I don't know why you're so stressed. I feel like everybody wins. People were furious, though. And now you're gonna suggest changing the flag? Suggest changing the anthem? Whew. There's 2 things I've learned living in America. It's you respect the flag and you respect the anthem. Yeah, I don't know what it means, but I follow the rules. No, the reason I say I don't know what it means is because it's confusing. You'll meet a lot of people who are like, you respect the flag. And I get it, but then I'll see those same people on July 4th and they'll be wearing the flag as underwear. Does that count? Yeah, you looked up and you were like, that flag, these balls. I mean, I would never suggest changing any of it. The anthem, oh, not never the anthem. Even though it could, maybe it could do with a little change, you know? It is a very violent anthem. You know, and America struggles with a lot of violence, maybe like a softer anthem, because it's a violent anthem. It's the only anthem I've ever heard that has bombs blowing up in it. Yeah, there are bombs and rockets in your national anthem. It's like a Michael Bay movie in a song. Everything just blowing up in slow motion. And it's almost like you're threatening other countries as well. You know, it's just like, yeah, bombs bursting and the rockets were flaring. Try us. It's like a gangster rap, to be honest. It really is. I feel like the American anthem is like a gangster rap. You know, it has all the same elements. It has the violence, has the threats. You know how much it's similar to a gangster rap? The American anthem is the only anthem where you can put the word bitch at the end of any line, and the song still makes sense. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there, bitch. I love the American national anthem, I won't lie. Yeah, it's exciting, and I know all the words. I didn't try and learn the words, but I know the words. It's just one of those songs that you hear so much that you know it, you know? Sort of like, nationwide is on your side, like same thing. I don't want to know that, I don't need to know that. Yeah, I wish I could reclaim the space in my brain, but it's there. America's national anthem is like that, because you hear it so much in America. You know, this is the only country I've ever lived in where you play the national anthem when there is no other country in attendance. Yeah, it would be like basketball games, football games, beer pong games, national anthem. Which I know is normal if you've lived in America all your life. You're like, well, what other way is there, Trevor? Well, I'll tell you, as somebody who comes from the rest of the world, that's not a thing. It's not. Most places in the world, you play the national anthem like maybe once a year on like a national event, or when you're competing against another country. That's when you play it, right? Because the other country's there, and you have to prove to your country that you're loyal. That's why you sing the song, you know, because countries are very insecure. You have to reassure them, constantly reassuring. They should go to therapy, deal with their attachment issues, but they don't. You only realize how insecure countries are when you leave your country. Have you ever left and come back? You seen the questions your country asks you? So insecure, so jealous, just like, where have you been? Huh? Where have you been? Which countries, huh? So what, you have another country now? Huh? Is that what you're doing? Huh? Huh? Which stamps are these? Let me see, who's been stamping your passport? Let me see your passport. You're like, yeah, damn country. Let me get my privacy. That's why in most places you only sing the anthem when there's another country in attendance. Only time you do it. Because that's what it's for. Make your country feel good. All right? You know what national anthems are in many ways? National anthems are the geopolitical equivalent of that thing women do to us men. Like, ladies, you know that trick you have for that man in your life? Like, whenever his ego is bruised and you have to try and heal it. Yeah? Every woman in this room has a trick that works on every man. Yeah, and right now I know a lot of the women are like, shut up, Trevor, shut up, 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 shut up. It's a beautiful, subtle technique. Yeah. You'll be out having lunch or something, and some guy will come up to the table, he's buff, works out, you know, looks really good. He's like, oh my God, Michelle? It's like, oh, Justin? Oh my God, wow, how are you? And they're like, who the hell is Justin? What's going on? He's like, this is crazy, I can't believe this, twice in 2 weeks? And they're like, twice? When was once? Who is this? I know, oh my God, oh, how are you? I'm doing good, man, we gotta catch up sometime. We gotta talk about college. I was thinking about it the other day. We were so crazy in college. You remember that night? And you're like, you went to college? What's going on here? She can feel your ego slowly withering like a raisin in the sun. And she won't look at you. She won't make anything big out of it. She'll continue the conversation, but they'll gently just put their hand on your thigh and then just start rubbing it. She'll carry on like nothing's happening. I know, those were crazy. I mean, I was a cheerleader. I mean, what are you gonna do, you know? It's just one of those. And then the hand is there going, shh, 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 shh. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay, you're a big man. Big man. Strong man. That's right. There's no other men in the world, just you. Look at you. Wow. What a big man. Yeah. Who? This guy? I don't even know who he is. Oh, yeah, no, with his muscles. Oh, I don't like muscles. No. Oh, I hate muscles. They're disgusting. Look at him. Oh, working out and everything's in shape and bulging. No, it's disgusting. What, six packs? No, I don't want a six pack. I don't like six packs. That's why I like you. Boop. That's what a national anthem is. You reassuring your country. The American anthem is such an interesting one, you know? Everything that represents America is the anthem. America has the most fun anthem rules in the world. Only country in the world where you're allowed to sing the anthem however you want. However you want. You can't do that anywhere else. Everywhere else in the world, the anthem is the way it is written. It's boring, and that's the point. You can't just change it. In America, you can do whatever you please. I noticed it the first time. First time I really noticed it was at a basketball game. It was the New York Knicks, and they were playing against the Toronto Raptors, right? And because the Raptors are from Canada, they had to play two national anthems before the game, which is rare. Right? So that we're in the arena, and everyone's like, and then the voice comes on. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Canadian national anthem. And everybody stood, and then they just played like a tape somewhere. You could tell they didn't care. And it was the song, the Canadian song. It's always the same. It's like, oh, Canada, that is the native song. I've missed song. And something brings us back to do. You know the song, man. I don't have time for that. Whatever. They sang the Canadian anthem. They were done. And then the announcer came back. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stay standing for the American national anthem. And that's my favorite part. Yeah, the lights will go dark. Someone walks to the middle of the arena. It's always so intense. Complete silence. The dawn, early what's so proud? Why are you trying to make the anthem sexy? What are you doing? What are you doing? I never understand that. Why are you trying to make it a sexy song? You'll never be in England and see someone like, remix! God save the Queen, God save the Queen. I save the Queen with sexy sex. Come on, save the Queen. Let's save the Queen with sexy sex. Come on, save that Queen. Oh, man. I'll be honest, I don't think that textbook thing is like a real issue. I feel like it's one of those manufactured issues that often happens in America that gets people riled up and gets them fired up fighting about something that was never an issue to begin with, you know? And the reason I say this is because that's honestly what I believe. I feel like in America, politicians have done a really good job of tricking Americans into fighting about issues that were never an issue to begin with, so that you don't pay attention to the issues that actually are. You know? If they can get you fighting about what's in a textbook, you don't pay attention to the fact that inflation is out of control. You don't pay attention to the fact that rents are out of control. People cannot afford to live anywhere. Your salaries have never kept up with inflation. Corporations steal billions and billions of dollars from their employees with no ramifications. You don't pay attention to any of that. You pay attention to what's catchy. It's easy to keep up with. It keeps you going, you know? Ooh, can trans people use public bathrooms? Ooh. It's manufactured. Who was actually dealing with this issue? And I mean this, honestly, who was actually dealing with this issue? You know what they did? Some politician out there figured out, they go, here's a small story affecting a few people in a random place. I'm gonna make it seem like this is a nationwide issue, and then everyone starts fighting about it. But who? Who was really dealing with it? Huh? Who of you here has ever been in a situation where you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden a skirmish broke out and you heard people being like, excuse me, is this the gender that you were born with? Does it coincide with the sign on the door? Is your genitalia matching this? Can I see it right? Who's ever seen that? Nobody. Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it, who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's gonna stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's gonna enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're gonna figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're gonna fight because you gotta know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. You're standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You hear him like, you be like, hey man, hey, you all right? Yo, hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call, hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're gonna have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. Like, how does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually. In fact, any man in here, I don't, like, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell. There is no stain. There is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady's pooing, never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee, it takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hands, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, 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 comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurant. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're gonna have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work, huh? So what, they're gonna be standing there while I'm peeing, huh? And they're gonna be looking at my wiener, huh? And they're gonna laugh, huh? Yo, I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away and I get hard and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Wow. Public bathrooms. That's why you shouldn't bury your history. Yeah, because if you know it's happened, you know what to predict. You understand why it happened in the first place.